Once a year, Mother Page is kind enough to provide me the privilege of giving this sermon and advocating for Beacons North County, the nonprofit organization that provides services and opportunities for adults with disabilities. So thank you for indulging me. This past summer, I was listening to Mother Susan's sermon, and it was all about love and our obligation to assist those less fortunate, those in need. And I thought, I hope I get readings like that, because it would be so easy to incorporate the Beacon's message into those readings. And this compares to one of my prior sermons, which was centered around the book of Exodus, when God parted the seas to allow the Israelites to escape and then drown the Egyptians. That one was not quite as easy to incorporate into the Beacon's message. So I was very excited to see what readings were assigned to me this year when Janine Hand emailed me a draft of the bulletin for today. I was hoping it was similar to Mother Susan's message, but then I read the first reading, which is actually the alternate reading for this service, from the book of Jeremiah, and then Psalm 14, and those hopes came to a crashing halt. The first reading, which again for this service is the alternate reading, starts out, "For my people are foolish. They are stupid children. They are skilled in doing evil." It continues with Psalm 14. "Everyone has proved faithless. All alike have turned bad. There is none who does good. No, not one." That is certainly not how I would describe the young adults at Beacons. Those are kind and non-judgmental. I thought, this is going to be a challenge. I therefore looked up what I could find on the internet about the first reading. And it says, "The preacher who chooses to preach this passage has no easy task. This is a difficult passage to preach indeed." Now my mind starts to wander. I wonder if Mother Page just likes Mother Susan better than me. But I am not one to succumb to a challenge, so I went back and continued reading. I continued with the book of Jeremiah. "I looked on the earth, and it was waste and void, and to the heavens, and there was no light. I looked to the mountains, and they were quaking. I looked, and there was no one at all, and all the birds had fled. The fruitful land was desert, and all cities laid to ruins." Okay, now it's just getting a little scary. God clearly stands in judgment and is pissed. He does not like what he sees. His people have stopped living as God taught us. Selfishness, hatred, indifference, and injustice have taken over. The Lord looks down from heaven upon us to see if there is any who is wise, if there's one who seeks after God. And further declaring that those who have abandoned God in their hearts are now corrupt and commit abominable acts. And then I thought about whether this was describing our conditions today. With all the record number of fires, earthquakes, hurricanes, violence, floods, and infectious disease that occur today. Are these the result of global warming, or an overpopulated or over-industrialized society? Or are these signs of what Jeremiah calls the Lord's fierce anger? Is this a message from God that we have lost our way? A caution that we have become too selfish or materialistic, or that we are not following God's commandments to love God with our whole heart and love our neighbors as ourselves? A reminder that we need to have God in our heart and live a righteous, caring life. I soon found that while reading the first reading and Psalm 14 were quite sobering, the second reading provides a beacon of hope among all the despair of the prior readings. In the first letter of St. Paul to Timothy, we are reminded of God's grace and that not all is lost. Here, Paul admits that he was a blasphemer, a persecutor, and a man of violence. Clearly, he was not a good guy. And yet, through Christ, Paul became a believer and was not only forgiven, but he became an apostle. He also became the poster child, or perhaps poster apostle, if you will, for the message that those who believe in God, and follow God will receive mercy and be forgiven, regardless of the past. Paul's reading, taken in context with the prior readings, reminds us that God may get a little cranky if we lose our way but his mercy is great, and if we repent and find our way back to God, we will be forgiven. In short, if God can change Paul, he can change us. Our brokenness is not a barrier to God, but the place where God's healing begins. This is clearly a more hopeful message than the first two readings and should be comforting to all of us sinners. Today's gospel takes it even further and reminds us that it is not just about me or you. It is about all of us. It is not enough that I find my way to God when I stray. We each need to do it collectively, together. This is shown through the parables of the lost sheep and the lost coin. Both show that it is not good enough to have 99 sheep or 9 silver coins when there is one sheep or one coin that is lost or missing. We need to care for them all, and we need to put forth the effort to find and save them all. As Luke says, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons. We need to take care of everyone and not be satisfied that almost all are in good shape. Adults with intellectual disabilities are often the lost sheep or lost coin. They are not lost because they are sinners, but because they are neurodivergent and society tends to focus on the masses, the typical, and not the outliers. Fortunately, there are organizations like Beacons North County that try to ensure those neurodivergent adults are not lost or forgotten. Beacons provides vocational, recreational, and social activities, as well as educational and other support services to neurodivergent adults and their support teams, to create pathways and outcomes to improve access to employment, the community, and social connections. It was founded by my wife and a few other parents because there was nothing else like it for these young adults after high school. Adults with intellectual disabilities are generally born with their disabilities. They are without fault. And yet this segment of our population is among the most marginalized or discriminated against. Unemployment for this group is above 80%. The median annual income is approximately $11,000. Again, that's annual, which is 27% below the federal poverty line. As a result, as a practical matter, over 80% live with other family with nothing to do all day and no feeling of purpose. You can imagine how lonely and unfulfilling that could be. Beacons, on the other hand, provides options for these adults to get out of the house, connect with others, and have a purpose, which often includes a job. These neurodivergent adults live a life that honors God. They fully appreciate they have more challenges than most. They accept it. And when together, they are so gentle and kind and supportive and encouraging of each other. There is not judgment, just acceptances of everyone's differences. And they are humble like you have never seen. Well, mostly humble anyway. My son Wesley has been training to be a natural bodybuilder and spends half his day showing us his newfound muscles. But they are, as a group, outstanding and worthy of your support. Now you will hear from my son Wesley and Allie Hayes, who is Connie and Woody's granddaughter. Both are long-term parishioners at St. Peter's and have been involved with Beacon since the very beginning and are unequivocally two of the kindest adults you've ever met.
Hi, my name is Allie Hayes. I want to tell you about Beacons and how super awesome it is. I am in the Explore program where we explore our interests and learn soft skills. Here are some of the fun things we do in Explore. Creative design. We make celebration cards, Christmas ornaments, candles, hand sanitizer, jewelry, dog treats, cookie mix, which we sell at our Makers Market. Soft skills. We learn retail, groceries, restaurants, business, and communication skills. We plant and harvest fruits and vegetables from our garden and then make delicious food to enjoy. We have fitness every Friday to work on our strength and balance. We volunteer in our community. We volunteer here at St. Peter's Thrift Shop. We also volunteer at the Carlsbad Animal Shelter, Camp Store, International Library, Coastal Roots Garden, and Leo Corrido Park. I really enjoy volunteering every Monday at St. Peter's Gift Shop. I organize the bags and run the cash for the store with Kathleen. The skills that I learned at Beacons help me with my work abilities. I am so grateful for the support of my amazing instructors at Beacons. Thank you for letting me share how special Beacons is. Thank you, St. Peter's, for your support of Beacons. Thank you.
My name is Wesley Lynch. I've been a member of St. Peter's for over 17 years. I've also been with Beacons since 2018, since the beginning. Let me tell you why I like Beacons. I like Beacons because it helps me learn different skills like cooking, art, and teamwork. And also transformed me into a completely different person. I've also made new friends and gained confidence in trying new things. I'm also taking a cooking workshop, and I also have a job there as site maintenance, where I take out the trash, recycling, I wipe down the tables, and I also wipe down the desk. Thank you for your support and for helping Beacons continue to make a difference in my life. Thank you.
Thank you both. That was terrific. So in conclusion, first I'd like to thank Mother Page again for this opportunity and her longtime support of Beacons. Last year, St. Peter's and this congregation donated almost $7,000 to Beacons. We fully appreciate there are many charitable organizations to choose from, and we appreciate that this parish has chosen Beacons. I also want to thank the thrift shop and other members of St. Peter's who worked tirelessly to support Beacons throughout this month. Second, I know everyone is stretched financially these days, and there are constant requests from many sources to provide support to others. But I assure you that Beacons is a very worthy organization. I am not asking that you give until it hurts. I am asking that you give until it makes you smile. Mother Page, if you're watching, we hope you feel better. We miss you. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. It has been my privilege. God bless.